We all listen to Why Is It So? Radio, a place that helps you send those unsent letters. There were days when your heart fell for someone, but because you were afraid to face the difficulties, you didn't dare to accept their feelings. There were days when you knew you weren't well, but you tried to hide it to keep a peaceful smile on your family's faces. There were also days when your heart was filled with countless scars, but you didn't dare to speak out, fearing you'd bother others. Whether in youth or adulthood, who hasn't lied a time or two? Lying, though we know it's wrong, when viewed through rose-tinted glasses, through the eyes of a deeply smitten person, sometimes those untruths are a fragile sweetness that rescues us from a bitter reality. People lie not to deceive, but to protect themselves, to shield someone else, and not to lose what they have. We've all surely lied to ourselves, saying, "I don't like them," simply because we feared an answer that wasn't what we hoped for. Even when our hearts carry unhealed wounds, don't we still choose to say, "I'm fine"? Often, we vaguely describe these untruths as the only guiding light that leads us out of a harsh reality. It's a shield that protects our hearts, though it might lead us astray. Yet, no matter their meaning, lies will always be one of humanity's most emotional facets, an indispensable part of our vibrations, our worries, and our regrets. Today, let's listen to the lies that have guided this week's letters. The first letter comes from someone nicknamed Fish. I call him Leo, and I like Leo. I realized my feelings for him after sitting next to him for 2 months. I like Leo because he's so kind, he always makes me laugh and helps me with my studies. Thanks to Leo, my grades have gradually improved. But Leo is so silly, he often teases me with another boy, which irritates me. Every time he does that, I want to hide my feelings for him deep inside. Yet before summer break, Leo unexpectedly confessed to me. He said he had liked me since we sat together, and those previous teases were actually because he didn't know how to express his feelings. At that moment, I was so happy to know that my feelings weren't one-sided, but at the same time, I wasn't ready to accept his confession. I refused, partly because I couldn't adapt to this new dynamic, and partly because I worried dating would affect my studies. Entering the new school year, Leo's daily attention made me like him even more, but this very affection made me afraid. I feared I wasn't mature enough to bear the weight of such a nascent love. Once again, Leo confessed, but I still refused. I deliberately acted cold, even avoided him. I realized that his liking me had affected his academic results, and I didn't want that to continue. I advised Leo to give up, but my words couldn't change anything. In the next exam, Leo surprisingly climbed to second place in the class. When I congratulated him, he just smiled and said he had used me as his motivation. Not just once, Leo always tried to prove that he had matured, that his feelings for me were the most sincere. But no matter how good Leo is, no matter how much I like him, I still can't admit these feelings. I can only lie to myself, saying I hate him, because I don't dare admit that my parents' disapproval is the reason we must stay apart. Perhaps in this story, the one who suffers most is Leo. Even though the feelings are mutual, I just want to tell you, Leo, that I like you very much, but circumstances don't allow us to be together. Leo, if you can, would you wait for me a little longer? The next letter comes from someone nicknamed Sweet Cabbage. Who am I? A question no one can give me the right answer to. Only I can search for and answer that question myself, but it's never been easy. Some people take 10, 20 years to understand themselves. Some find the answer only when they're near death, and some never find it at all throughout their lives. Perhaps this is life's most challenging test. I thought about this when I was doing my literature essay. I planned to write it like this, but then I was afraid of being considered too negative, so I stopped. Actually, it wouldn't be too negative if it came from an adult, but I'm only in 7th or 8th grade. Thinking like that might seem a bit abnormal, right? But I also ask myself, who am I? Probably just an 8th grader who likes to draw, likes to read, gets good grades, is afraid of cockroaches, afraid of mom. Sometimes I have random thoughts, I cry easily, and I'm quite introverted. My family isn't wealthy, but we have enough to eat and wear. My parents support my hobbies. I don't experience domestic violence. At school, I have friends, I'm happy, and I don't experience bullying. Many people say my life is very fortunate, even my parents say so. That's why I'm not allowed to cry. They don't like it. If I cry, I'll be scolded. But there are times when I want to burst into tears for something, and just because my family doesn't like it, I can only suppress it. I don't know who I really am to be able to fit in with my friends as I do now. I've lied to them countless times. I've fabricated stories just to have something to talk about with them, and I'm a natural liar without even batting an eye. But I'm scared. I'm scared that one day, if they know it was all just lies, what will they think of me? If they know, maybe I'll have to find new friends and keep on lying. That would be a nightmare. I lie too much, not just to others, but to myself. Now I don't know what's real and what's fake anymore. The chaotic emotions within me can't be distinguished. Perhaps this is the price I have to pay for my own lies. The next letter is from someone with the initials TA. Hello, Dad. I don't know if I'll ever get to call you Dad, just once in my life, because I only recently found out you still exist in this world. How is your life, Dad? Is your family happy and peaceful? Have you ever, even for a minute, remembered the existence of me and Mom? I was born without you by my side. Since I first became aware, I always wondered why I didn't have a father like other kids. There were times I mistakenly thought a motorbike taxi driver or a neighbor was my father. When I asked Mom, at first she said Dad had died in an accident. But later, Mom told me the truth. You had left Mom and me. Your family always wanted you to have a son to carry on the family name, so when Mom got pregnant with a girl, you insisted she abort me. I don't know what really happened then. I only know that Mom was determined to keep me, and you disappeared, never to be seen again until now. It's been 20 years, and Mom is still very angry with you, but I know she can never forget you. That's why, throughout all these years, Mom hasn't remarried. She just stayed to raise me. You know, your daughter is very strong. I started helping Mom sell things when I was in 3rd grade. I've done everything a father would do, from chopping firewood, digging earth, fixing the chicken coop for Mom, to repairing household appliances, and now helping Mom earn money. Anything a son can do, your daughter can do it all. When I was little, I often dreamed and hoped that one day a man would appear and claim me as his daughter. But the older I got, the more I understood that those were just wild dreams I created myself. When Grandma knew I knew about you, she kept advising me to find you, but I didn't like that at all. Why should I look for someone who abandoned me? If you wanted to, you would have come back for me a long time ago, right? To be honest, I used to be very angry with you. How could you be so cowardly and abandon Mom and me like that? Angry because you made Mom suffer so much. She sacrificed so much, Dad, do you know? Being both a father and a mother, Mom couldn't find her own happiness. She could only work hard every day to earn enough money for my education. Mom says I have many flaws, but also a bit of artistic talent like you. That makes me hate myself profoundly. Why do I inherit so many things from you? I don't want to be like a man who abandoned Mom and me like that. But I also know I can't blame you forever, because in the end, perhaps we are no longer related to each other. If that's the case, then it's better if we never meet again from now on. Without you, Mom and I are still living very well. It might be a lie if I say I don't resent you. Anyway, I just hope you live well now and become a strong pillar for your family. Goodbye, Dad. The next letter is from someone nicknamed I Spare. Hey, David. Do you know that ever since I uttered those breakup words that day, I haven't been able to date anyone else or enter another relationship? Whether you know or not, if you happen to hear this letter, I hope you'll understand my heart. Every handhold, every touch, every moment we shared together, honestly, I still can't forget. I remember it so clearly. I remember saying that no matter what happened, we wouldn't break up. Yet, how ironic that I was the one who said goodbye. Remembering it so clearly, I cried so much. I cried for all the days we were together. The day I said goodbye wasn't because I stopped loving you, but because I was afraid you would have to endure harsh words from my mother. I said I loved you, so how could I be selfish enough to burden you with any more pressure? More than anyone, I knew you had already tried so hard to endure the pressures from all around. I didn't want you to carry any more burdens, so I decided to break up. I deliberated for a long, long time, spent many nights crying before I could say those words. I accepted that you would have a bad impression of me. I accepted that I would be seen as someone who toyed with affections. I only hope that later, if you hear these words, you'll understand me and have a good life, finding someone truly deserving to be by your side. Now, everyone has their own future. We don't need to walk the same path anymore. But let's both try harder for ourselves, okay, David? The last letter is from Jellyfish. Dad used to say, if you don't meet the prince of your life later, just come back and be Daddy's little princess. Dad, your daughter now just wants to be a child, to be able to whine to you, to make you carry me to buy ice cream, to make you cook tomato scrambled eggs, to make you tie my hair, to make you drive me to school. I don't want to be an adult anymore. The other day, I watched a short video about dads. My eyes welled up, my nose ran. The question in it pierced my heart. Do you remember the last time you took a picture with your dad? At that moment, I frantically scrolled through my phone's photo library, but in the end, I found nothing. I burst into tears, Dad, out of sadness, out of sorrow, realizing how thoughtless I had been. Entering the rebellious age of a teenager, I made one mistake after another. I lied to you, Dad, I loved to play and didn't study. But in the end, you were still forgiving, still gently taught me. You didn't hit me, didn't scold me. You just quietly told me to try hard in my studies. You didn't want me to struggle like you did later in life. Sometimes I was stubborn, sometimes I argued with you, but in those times, you didn't scold me like you did when I was little. You just stayed silent, and I feared your silence the most, because I knew then how much my words and actions had hurt you. When I went to college, I cried so much, Dad. Cried because I missed you, cried because everything was too difficult without you. You were sick, and I couldn't come home because I was busy with work. You lied about your health, not telling me because you were afraid I would worry and neglect my work. The money I sent home, you didn't use it, but saved it. Many times you called me and I couldn't answer. I couldn't even call you back. I couldn't even come home on a day off. I don't even have a single photo with you. That's my biggest regret. Oh, if only time could stop so I could be with you longer, so I could say, Dad, your princess is home. And yet your princess is home, but you are no longer here. This life is harsh, and sometimes it can be even harsher without those lies. Lies are like a protective veil that gives us the courage to move forward. They can be called deception, but sometimes they are invaluable because they shield our fragile hearts from life's cruelties. However, no veil can hide forever. When the truth is revealed, all the pain and torment can surge like a fierce wave. We can accept it, or we can wish we had never faced it, not even once. Yet, even knowing that behind that veil there might be hurt, we are constantly compelled to seek the truth. Because deep down, everyone yearns to see things clearly, even if it breaks our hearts. Truth and lies inherently walk hand in hand, like light and shadow, like hope and the pain that dwells within. The important thing is not to choose one over the other, but to know when to confront, when to accept, and when we can allow ourselves a quiet moment for our emotions to be soothed.